Today, we're going to be taking a look at, again, something different, and this is the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 2-pack of Wolverine and Storm. Ironically, my two favorite X-Men in the same pack. That was the only reason I even bought this, if I am being completely honest with you, was just because it's Wolverine and Storm, if I'm being completely honest. Here's the box. Looks pretty solid. We got a nice picture of Storm on the side. That's the back of the box. We can see the other sets with Cyclops, Jean Grey, Gambit, and Rogue. And then a nice picture of Wolverine on the side as well. So, not bad in the packaging department, but let's take a look and see what we got. So, within the package, we do have some certain things, including some hands that have gotten loose. But we have the two figures, of course. Wolverine only has accessories up here, that being the two clawed hands and then the unmasked head, whereas Storm has a alternate head. And if we come back here, there's a second tray, which has her electric hands, a different cape, and two lightning effect pieces, which is pretty cool. And so here we have Storm and Wolverine out of the box. And what a nice set this is. Honestly, I like the look of this a lot. My two favorite X-Men, as I mentioned. Both of which are definitely some of my favorite Marvel characters. Wolverine is my favorite, and I'd say Storm's like number 4 behind Black Panther and Moon Knight. So, you know, reasonable. But they're very, very nice, and I do like the designs. I forget the exact artist's name that these are based off of. It's the whole 97 season of the animated series coming up that these are based off of. They changed all of the suits, as you've seen on the back of the box at the beginning. The Cyclops has that design, and Jean Grey has that design. So, you know, it's pretty nice. And I did swap Wolverine's hands out because it just didn't feel right without the claws. But they're very nice figures, and we're going to take a look at them one at a time instead of both at the same time, because that would get a little bit egregious to do. So we'll take a look at Wolverine first, and then we're going to take a look at Storm. For Wolverine, he is a very, very nice figure. I do like the paintwork on it, the nice matte brown, though there is some scuffage going on the chest up here, along with on the back, which is a little unfortunate. Kind of sucks. The detailing is pretty good, though. I like the arm hairs. They got that real good, and it actually feels sculpted on there, which is kind of insane. And it's just a good suit. I like this suit. I do like the blue and yellow a little more than the brown and yellow, but I still love the brown and yellow suit. It's a great suit, and again, is one of his more iconic suits. But blue and yellow will always be the most iconic one for Wolverine. I think almost every design pretty much has him with that suit. It's nice to have the representation of the brown and yellow, but, you know, kind of wish it could have been the blue and yellow, but I'm good with this one as well. It's not a bad look, and I do quite like it. Though the color matching I'm noticing is kind of iffy. There's 3 different colors of yellow going on here. You might be able to see it. The thighs are very much more orange than the rest of the yellow. This is a little off. This is more of a yellow, but then up here is definitely painted, obviously, so it's going to be different from this yellow. Yellow is always one of those paint colors that's very hard to match. Anyone who's into Transformers knows that Bumblebee is one of the most egregious things with the yellow paint differences or the yellow plastic differences. He's one of the most egregious cases of it. Almost every Bumblebee figure does that, where they have a different color yellow, especially the movie-verse Bumblebees. That's my comparison for what this kind of is, where it's just multiple different colors. I don't think it's a stylistic choice. I just think it's they tried something and it didn't end good. The look of him is very good. As I mentioned, the arms are very nice with the sculpted hairs, which is just really cool. The boots are very nice as well, looking at those. There's nothing really going on the thighs except for the kind of shorts up here. He does got the trunks on, which is cool. The gloves are fairly standard, other than, of course, the little kind of metal parts where the claws come out of, which, if we bring in his secondary hands here, or the ones he has out of the box, the fisted hands, nobody's using these. Come on, it's Wolverine. Nobody's using them. Not a soul is touching those hands. It is these hands and these hands only from here on out for this guy. The swap of the hand isn't anything special. If you own Marvel Legends, you kind of know how it goes. It's just a peg, which Black Series started doing ball joints recently, which I think would be nice if Marvel Legends got into it, but there is a very heavy difference between the two lines, genuinely. It's kind of one of those more stark things I didn't realize. Despite both being from Hasbro, the figure differences are just entirely different, in my opinion. And honestly, in a way, the Marvel Legends line feels a little more high quality at times, which is kind of weird. But the look's nice. The head sculpt is pretty great. He does have some little whiskers going on the chin. He does have the yelling face, which does look good. The cowl looks really, really nice, of course. And he just looks awesome in this design. Now, he does have one other accessory other than that aforementioned claw hands and non-claw hands, which is he does have a secondary head sculpt. And that would be his unmasked head sculpt, which goes on pretty easy and does look pretty solid. I do like the look of the unmasked head sculpt. Again, kind of with the scowl going. There's a lot more detail to look at with it. Like, they got the eyes looking quite nice. Everything looks really good here with them, in my opinion. And I mean, just kind of try to get him into a crouched pose here. It's Wolverine, so I kind of feel like, you know, there's a certain pose that must be reached, and it's this one. It is this one that must be reached. Very basic, but I mean, this is the Wolverine pose I think of usually, is him crouched down with the claws pointing forward. It's perfect. Either head will work with this, in my opinion. No matter which one you put on there, it works. I think the unmasked might work a little better with the scowl, because this one looks like he's about to jump you. He's about to jump you. But it is still pretty good, and I mean, nothing really wrong with it. This Wolverine is pretty solid, and his articulation's also quite nice as well, with a ball joint at the head, and up and down at the neck, forward and back at the arms, outward at the arms. He does have a butterfly joint, as we've seen, swivel at the bicep, a double elbow, rotation at the wrist, an up and down hinge. We then have a very nice ab crunch and a waist swivel. Forward and back. Backwards a little meh. Outward thigh swivel. Double knee. Tilt at the ankle. And of course forward and back. So everything that you pretty much want. Actually, he does have a boot rotation as well, which I didn't mention. But there's a lot of articulation here, and it's a fairly good figure, honestly. Again, I don't really know what you're really going to include for accessories with the guy. You know, it's not really much I could think of, honestly. They pretty much nailed it. Maybe another head sculpt could have worked, but that's about it. And that might be asking a little too much, because the majority of this box is, of course, filled with the next figure stuff, which is Storm. And here we have Storm, and Storm is very cool. As I mentioned, one of my favorite characters from the X-Men, easily. I just love her powers. She controls weather. It's a cool power, up there with construction, like Green Lantern, I guess. That's probably my two favorite power sets possible. If I'm being honest, I do really love the Green Lantern power set. The Construct power set is really cool, in my opinion. But the overall look of Storm is very nice, though this figure is very much more glossy than Wolverine. As I mentioned, he's a bit more matte. Storm is very, very glossy. There's a lot of glossiness going on with Storm. But that's not a big issue, in my opinion. It is a, sizable one, but not bad. One thing I did notice is the cape down here is a little odd. Like, it's kind of like the glossiness isn't there in places. It's like it came off. I don't know what's going on with that. But there is another couple paint mishaps with her, of course. Her left thigh here seems like it's scratched up a good bit. Then on her right leg, there is some very bad paint chippage going on by her knee. And then a little bit down here. Actually, it looks a little dented down here, like something, got it a little too hard. And there's a very minor one on her stomach here. It's, right there at the tip of my thumb. There's, some black paint bleed through because, obviously, this whole thing is just sculpted in black and then painted. And that's kind of my only little complaints here. And the other bad spot of paint is the yellow up here on the cape. It's very bleedy. It's very bad around the edges. Not great, but it's not super noticeable. But the overall look of the figure is still pretty good. I do like the look of this design. It is one of her more iconic ones. It's one I usually could think of for Storm. She has the black thigh-high boots, which don't really have much detailing going on other than these ovals up here. The arms are very plain with just these gold bands, and the torso is very good with this kind of wrestler-esque spandex part going on. And again, you can kind of see the paint on the sides here are not great. But, you know, could be worse. The head sculpt is fairly nice. She does have the pure white eyes, as if she is using her ability. I kind of maybe wish with this one we didn't get it. I kind of wish we had some pupils in there. Because on the box, if I pull it back up here and get her image in here, it does have pupils, as you can see. It does have it. So, you know, maybe, but the other head makes more sense to have it, in my opinion. But the little kind of crown up here looks very good. The hair looks nice with the pure white. Maybe a bit of blue shading, but that might be a little too much to ask, honestly. But it still does look quite nice. And the figure overall is very, very good. Now, let's take a look at her accessories, where she has a lot. Unlike Wolverine, who had a head and hands, she has a head and hands, plus some other stuff. So, first and foremost, the head, to swap it, similar to Wolverine, just a ball joint. Fairly easy, actually, compared to Wolverine. And she also has the different cape. In removing this cape, you actually can get a better look at the body, I guess. This, you know, Storm without a cape doesn't look right. There's only one design, and it's like the punk rock one I'm thinking of. I don't know the exact version of it. I know it's the one that's in Marvel Rivals. Oh, we got a bad paint splotch up here on her neck. Tragic-y. It's kind of tragic, honestly. Anyway, I don't really like that. Without the cape, it doesn't feel right. But she does get a second cape, which is a flowing cape, which the paint, luckily, looks a little bit better on. So that's nice. And then her other head sculpt is the flowing hair head sculpt with the angry expression, which is very good. Looks very nice. Again, the same kind of thing. They did pretty good with the expression and everything. The hair is very nice with the flow. The cape's nice flowing as well. Kind of going different directions, though, which is interesting. And then she has alternate hands as well, which are very essential. To remove her hands, same as Wolverine. Just pull them out. They're just fists. And then you can attach on her electro fingers, which look pretty solid. They do go to the translucent electricity, which is nice. And she does kind of need to have some kind of electric-based powers, I feel. Though I feel like they could have maybe tried to represent some other elements with her, but I'm good with just the electricity being shown. It's a very nice ability. Again, maybe some wind effects, but that's about it. I mean, she does have control of all elements, so... You know, or weather, I should say. Not elements, weather. But it's still pretty good. And then we also have some more effects to add on, which is these electricity effects, which might come in handy for more than just her. I mean, they're getting put with her. They're not getting put with anyone else, but I feel like they could work with some other figures and some other lines and ways, so that's nice. And to put them on, I kind of put them however. I like to just put them up through the legs, like that, and kind of try to get it over there, and so you can kind of have her glowing with electricity. It looks pretty okay. I mean, there's a lot of electricity going on, so it works. Maybe you could try to get it in some different directions, maybe, but I think overall it looks good. There's different ways you can obviously put this electricity. It doesn't have to just go where I have it at. It works throughout the figure. I mean, it's not anything crazy. I do just like the look of it, though. It's really, really cool. And again, very essential parts. And it's nice to have some electricity parts like that. It really is, because, as I said, very usable. No matter where I want to use those are very usable parts. And that will conclude the Storm segment until we, of course, get her cape back on her and putting her back to normal here for the articulation, because I feel like that might restrict it a little more with the flowing hair, you know. The hands aren't more restrictive, obviously, but I'm just doing it for the sake of cohesion. We're swapping her hands back out. There we are. All right, so for Storm's articulation, it's pretty basic. We have a ball-jointed head, which is a bit more limited because of her hair. No matter which one you're going to put on there, she has a solid chunk of hair. It's not going anywhere. It is on there, so do as you will with that. She does have no butterfly, which is a shame, for the back, outward, swivel at the bicep, a double elbow joint, swivel at the wrist, and then a hinge. The waist is more Black Series adjacent, where it's a ball joint up top, and then the rotation is also there. Forward, back, out, swivel at the thigh, double knee, which seems a little limited, honestly. No boot swivel, and then a swivel at the foot and up and down. So, pretty well everything you want. A little more limited than Wolverine, though. Wolverine, I think, is a much better poser than Storm, but still not bad. And that pretty well concludes this, so let's get into my final thoughts on Storm and Wolverine, or Wolverine and Storm, whatever way I want to put it. These two are pretty fun figures. I like them. I think I like Wolverine a little bit more, though, than Storm. Storm is fine, though she has issues standing, as you could probably tell throughout the review. Wolverine doesn't have as much of an issue. Now, Wolverine doesn't really have many flaws. Other than that yellow paint thing I brought up, I can't think of much with him. He comes with everything he should come with, and he's kind of the ideal Wolverine figure. If you just wanted a representation of Wolverine, I don't think it gets much better than that one. Again, it depends on the suit, of course, but he is a good Wolverine to have, especially if you just don't care about the suit. Again, I don't care that much about it, as much as I do like the blue and yellow suit, a little bit more than the brown and yellow. I'm still good with this one. Genuinely, I'm very good with it. Storm, there's a couple outfits. I do like the 86 design, the one with the white outfit. I do like that one a little bit more than Storm's black outfits. I don't know what it is. I think Storm in the white outfit has always been more of my favorite design of her. But I don't like the mohawk as much as I like the flowing hair. That's kind of the difference. I like the flowing hair on this one a lot more. But the suit I don't like as much as that other one, or the older suit. And again, she has a lot more issues than Wolverine. For one, the inability to stand. Her hair makes her extremely heavy comparatively to her body. Her feet are really small. She has a lot more paint mishaps and damage going on throughout the figure. And overall, I mean, it's meh. But she does have a lot more accessories than Wolverine. Now, are they completely necessary? The electricity effects are very cool, and I do like them. The electricity hands, very necessary, I think. The head sculpt is nice, and the alternate cape is also very nice, because if she had that head sculpt going with this neutral cape, I don't think it would work too good. But nonetheless, still pretty solid overall. And as a 2-pack, they're really good. I think the Wolverine I would give a good 4 out of 5 to, and I think for Storm I give her a 3 out of 5, only because she just has a couple flaws and issues. The accessories are nice, but she just has so many paint mishaps going on where Wolverine doesn't. He has a couple scuffs here and there, and this isn't biased, as I said. They're both two of my favorite Marvel characters, so it's not really biased towards Wolverine for being my favorite. It's just his figure is that much better than the Storm. But overall, would I recommend them? Absolutely. I paid $90 for them, though, which was Hasbro Pulse pricing. I had pre-ordered them months ago, kind of forgot about it, and kind of went, I wonder if these guys shipped yet, and then they shipped, like, the next day. So, not bad. I mean, they're good. I like them. I'm probably not going to continue a lot of Marvel Legends, if I'm being honest. I just don't have the room for them at this point in time. I literally have too much stuff, so I cannot go with another line of Marvel Legends or anything like that. So we're good with where we're at, but these are great, and maybe I'll get some from here from time to time. You know, if they ever make another Moon Knight, I might get that, and if they make a solid Black Panther that I can get for cheap, I might get that as well. But that is about it for this review. This has been my review of the Marvel Legends Wolverine and Storm 2-pack from X-Men 97. This has been Delete signing out.